Good evening and welcome to News Channel 8. I'm Jerome Aegean, and here's some of the stories we have for you tonight. Suspects are arrested after a surveillance tape catches them red-handed. You'll see the tape and you won't believe the rest of the story. A tourist boat on St. Thomas has trouble and at least 2 campers are sent to the hospital. And your Crime Stoppers report. These stories and more are up next on News Channel 8. In our top story tonight, a popular tourist boat called the Buccaneer had problems staying afloat in St. Thomas Harbor earlier today. At least 2 students were sent to the hospital, and they're expected to pull through. We'll have more on this late-breaking story tomorrow. A tragic story to report tonight. You may recall a robbery that went bad a few weeks ago in the Tutu Park Mall area, where a man was held up. He was robbed and he was shot. We are sad to report that that man has expired. We are looking into the case to see if it is extenuating circumstances that's caused his death. Here's News Channel 8's Lee Carl with an update.
A 62-year-old man who was robbed and shot at Tutu Park Mall parking lot back in June 7th now has died at the Snyder Regional Hospital. Police have ordered an autopsy to determine whether the man died from his injuries from the shooting. The Deputy Chief of Police is Dwayne DeGraff, and he said once the autopsy is finalized, the police may be able now to further direct the investigation. As of now, the robbery investigation has not been escalated to a homicide investigation. We're not treating it as anything at this point. If the autopsy makes a correlation between his death and his injuries, the investigation may go one way. And DeGraff was not sure Tuesday when the autopsy was performed, when the police would make their determination. But the man, you now know because I spoke to his wife the day of the shooting, has been identified as Mr. Oliver. He and his wife operate a business called Bridal and Tuxedos at Tutu Park Mall. They also operated a Western Union vendor, and apparently the two were leaving the store and went to the car. He was carrying a briefcase who the thieves may have thought was the money from the Western Union business. He was shot in the stomach after the man exiting the mall carrying a bag of what appeared to be a bag of money. The robber demanded the money back. The man handed it over, resisting for just shortly, handed over it willingly. The robber then shot him in the stomach anyway. The man had undergone surgery for his wound twice, we understand, and remained at the hospital. Police have not made any arrests to date in connection to this incident, and he was identified as Mr. Oliver. You may recall the interview I had with his wife, Mrs. Oliver, and both of them, by the way, were getting ready to come to that Montserrat bench where I was honored up at Victor's. And here's what she had to say about the incident as it took place.
We were going to our vehicle when someone came up, and instead of asking for the bag and taking what they want, they just shot my husband from about 10 feet and then took. And, it was such a disaster. I cannot imagine in this. These people would do these things. Take what you want and go, but please, folks, leave the alone. We are hard workers and we don't want to do any harm or anything to anyone. Just take what you want and go. They did not have to shoot my husband.
In St. Thomas, Lee Carl for News Plate.
And now the story we've all been waiting for. 2 suspected burglars were caught on videotape. The incident happened last week, and meanwhile, 3 suspects have been arrested. Let's go to News Channel 8's Wes Small with more.
We're here now on the South Shore at the State Grape Tree, and behind me, we believe, is the home that has made headline news over the last few days or so. Here's what's going on. It was June 22nd on a Monday last week when 2 suspects, and you are watching their picture now, very clear shots of these 2 suspects, we believe were casing the place out, actually trying to break into the home. Homeowners in this area has had it up to here. They put a tape surveillance service in place, and the homeowner made a police report on this incident and posted the video on the attempted burglary all over the place. Hundreds of websites in our territory have received it. News Channel 8 received a video several days ago, but we were unable to show it until Commissioner Novell Francis assured us that they had issued search warrants and that this investigation was thoroughly going through. We just couldn't air those pictures. With that, let's take it to VIPD spokesperson Melody Rames.
On Tuesday, June 30th, at about 5:30 p.m., police on St. Croix arrested 32-year-old David Armstrong after he turned himself into police. He was charged with attempted burglary in the third degree in connection with an incident that occurred June 22nd on the east end of St. Croix. Armstrong was the third suspect arrested in connection with this case. At about 9:30 a.m. the same morning, 23-year-old Kitim Davis was arrested on the same charges, while his brother, 19-year-old Kinja Davis, was arrested for possession of an unlicensed firearm. The brothers were arrested at their Estate St. John home based on a warrant issued by the Superior Court of the Virgin Islands. Surveillance video identified Armstrong and Kitim Davis attempting to break into a home. When police attempted to enforce the search warrant on the Davis home, Kinja Davis was observed attempting to discard a firearm. The three suspects were held on $25,000 bail and remanded to the custody of the Golden Grove Adult Correctional Facility pending further court action.
News Channel 8 just got some phone calls that those same guys on the surveillance tape, Wes, guess what? They're walking around Sunny Isle. I said no. They said yes. And so I said, well, let me come down to Superior Court and find out. Here we go. Let's start with Kinja Davis. That was the young man, the brother, who was at the home when they raided the Estate St. John resident looking for these suspects that were on the videotape from Grape Tree. Kinja Davis has now posted bail, possession of firearm, failure to register a firearm, failure to register ammunition. He was first placed on $25,000 bail, and now it has been knocked down, unsecured. $2,250. He had to pay 10% of that, $250. He is out on the streets, custody of his mother. Kitim Davis. Now, here's one of the young men in the surveillance video. He's been charged with attempted burglary in the third degree, trespassing, $25,000 bail. His was not reduced, but he was released to a third-party custodian, unsecured, by the way. And also the same goes for David Armstrong. That was a young man who was seen with Mr. Davis. Attempted burglary, third degree, trespassing, third party, unsecured. He's been released, $25,000 bail. Well, there you have it. Those three suspects that really kicked up a sandstorm, not only here in the Virgin Islands, but even in the United States. Text messages, and people have gotten the email from all over by now, hundreds of people by now. But these same three guys are now back out on the streets. Who's the judge? The presiding judge? Julio Brady. Well, there you have it. I'm sure this case is not going anywhere. News Channel 8 is all over this one. At Superior Court, I'm Wes Small for News Channel 8.